Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to Patel Science Academy by Shahzad sir. I welcome you in the first lecture from the chapter Inheritance and the Variation. Dear students, this is the very first lecture of this chapter, Inheritance and the Variations, and this is very interesting chapter as it is having concern with the process of the genetics. So dear students, in this lecture we'll learn about so many topics that are very important for the human body as well as for the other living organisms. So dear students, before I go in the depth of this topic, I would like to ask you some question. Is there any similarity between you and your parents? If that similarity is there, so think about that, why that similarity is there. For example, if you are having similarity in your nose and in your mummy's nose, so what are the reasons for that similarity, that both body, you and your mummy, is having the same shape of the nose? Some other question you should think about are what are the roles of the chromosomes in the living organisms, and how are hybrid seeds produced, and why do we have the similarities in our character with which resembles with our parents, and which are the chromosomal disorders. So dear students, in this chapter we'll see all that answers of this question, why we are similar to our parents and why we are not 100% similar to our parents. So we'll see all that things one by one. So very first thing you should learn about is, dear students, a topic: heredity. What is heredity? It's a biological process. Before I explain about something in this chapter, I would like to explain you about some terminology which is very important in this chapter, and you have to be familiar with all that terms, otherwise you will not be able to learn that topic properly. So dear students, in that terminology, the very first term you should learn about is heredity. And what is heredity? This is a biological process by which the parents pass on the genetic information. Genetic information is passed from the parents body to their offspring, means to their children, through their gametes. So this process of passing of or transmission of the genetic information from parents to their offspring, from generation to generation, this is known as heredity, or this is known as inheritance. So dear students, this heredity and inheritance, because of this heredity and inheritance, if you have same characters like your parents, for example the nose shape in between you and your mummy, if both of you are having same nose shape, so it is only because of the process of heredity. And because of this heredity process, your mom has transferred that characteristics for the nose into your body. That's why this is your shape of nose is the example of this heredity too. There are a lot of example of heredity in your body. You can just imagine your body and you can just think about it. So dear students, this is genetics, and it is the branch of biology that deals with the patterns of inheritance. And I hope you have learned about inheritance or about heredity. So heredity is the process of a biological process by which the transmission of the genetic material, that is genetic information, from generation to generation, that is from the parents to offspring, takes place. Means in your body, whatever character you are having, it is transferred from your parents body, out of which whatever those characters which are similar in your parents and in your body, all those characters are the example of heredity. So there is one man that is popularly known as Gregor Johann Mendel. He was an Australian monk, and he started the science of the genetics by experimenting with the garden pea plants, and in between the 1856 and 1868. So this is that great man who is popularly known as father of genetics, and that is Gregor John Mendel, the great person. So dear students, about him and about all the characters included in this chapter, we'll learn one by one. So dear students, I hope you have learned about the heredity, you have learned about inheritance. So inheritance and heredity, you just try to see the character, you just try to observe the characters in your body and in your parents body. Whatever characters are similar or matching with your parents body, that all are the examples of the inheritance or the heredity. Likewise, in this picture you can see these are two bodies face, and these two bodies are parents and their offspring. This is mom and this is her daughter. So dear students, inside age of eyes, you can see here this is similar because of, you can see this character, this character in the eyes, that is inside edge of the eyes, is similar because this has been transferred from this mother into this daughter by the process of the heredity or inheritance. Another examples you can see here, the cheekbones. Just look at the shape of the cheekbone here and here. This is again similar because it has inherited from the body of this mother into this offspring, into this daughter. Another thing you are observing here is the tip of the nose. Just look at the tip of the nose, and this tip of the nose from this mother is inherited into her daughter. So this is again the example of heredity or inheritance. And the most important characters in the female body, the philtrum you are observing here. You just look at this part, this is called philtrum. This philtrum is again alike her mother, so it is also it is always transferred from the mother by the process of the heredity or inheritance. So dear students, there are few characteristics transferred by the mother body into her daughter in this picture, and I hope you have understood about this heredity or inheritance. So simply it is the character, is the process of transmission of the characters from the parents into their body, into their offspring body, generation to generation. So dear students, this is about heredity. Now we'll see some other example of the heredity. You just look at the picture and just observe what similarities you are observing here. The most attractive is dimple. So this dimple you are observing here in this body and in her offspring. So the gene responsible for producing the dimples or creases in the cheek is called actually dominant gene. And if you have even one copy of this gene, you will have dimples, that is homozygous dominant. If it is that gene is which is responsible for dimple, if it is present in the either homozygous dominant condition or heterozygous carrier condition. If it is present either in the homozygous or carrier means heterozygous condition, so definitely that body is going to have this dimple on the cheek. So this is one of the example of the gene which is responsible for transmitting for transferring the dimple gene either in the homozygous condition or in the heterozygous condition. But if it is present in the recessive condition, so there will not be dimple. So the no dimple allele is recessive, as I told you, which means the two copies of the allele, it must be present if you don't have dimples. That is homozygous recessive condition of the gene is if it is present in your body, so you will not have dimple. So the dimple characteristic in the human is an example of the complete dominance, because of one trait is completely dominant over the another, and not all characters followed this pattern. So actually this dimple is again the example of inheritance, but in this inheritance the gene pair should be either in the homozygous dominant condition or in the heterozygous dominant condition. So this is another example of inheritance or heredity. So dear students, I hope you are learning about it. Now we'll learn about one more term, and that term is actually variations. So So dear students, now we'll learn about the variation. What is variation? Variation means simply to understand variation, I would like to inform you about your body. You just look at your body and your parents' body. Whatever character are similar in your body and your parents' body, that character is transferred by the process of the inheritance or heredity. But you are not 100% similar to your parents, or you do not have 100% resemblances with your parents in as far as the different characteristics are concerned. So why that 100% similarity is not there? That's differences between the organisms in their character, that is actually the variation. So variation means the differences in the characteristics. So why that characteristics are not 100% similar? Because of the variation this character. So variation may be genetic, variation may be environmental. So genetic environment variation, the differences caused by the genes, and environmental variations, the differences in the characteristics, differences caused by the environment. So dear student, don't be confused. Simply just take your example of your eyes. If your eyes are similar to your mother or your father, then this is the example of heredity or inheritance. And just look at the shape of your nose. If the shape of your nose do not resembles with your parents, with your both parents, if your nose is not alike your parents, so this is the example of variation. So whatever character you are having in your body which is not similar to your parents, so that character is called variation character. So it is because of the variation. And whatever character is similar in your body, like your parents, that is the example of the heredity. So dear student, till now we have learned about two terms, one heredity or inheritance, and the another one is variation. So example of the variations you will see here. Example: genetic variation, blood type, eye color, or genetic diseases. As I told you, if your mother is having A blood group, your father is having B blood group, and if you are having AB blood group, so that blood group is the example of variation, because you are neither having A nor having B, you are having AB. So that's why this AB type of blood group is the example of your genetic variation. And the another one is the eye color. If your eye color is not matching with your both of the parents, so that is again the example of the genetic variation. Dear students, next one is the most variation is caused by both, and both height, weight, skin color, all these may be the example of variation, dear students. So I hope you are learning about it, and you have actually learned about it. So just try to take your example to learn about it. Just look at this two puppies, and just compare these characters, the characters amongst the eyes, amongst the nose, in between the lips, in between the tongues, in between the hair present on the skin, in between their ears. Just look at the compare the characteristics, the color of the hair. So all these are different, having differences. That's why these are the example of variations, because the parents of this organism is different from this organism. So these are all characters are different from each other. Thereafter we'll see the next example, the earlobe. So just look at the change in the earlobe, in the shape of the earlobe. Just look at this ear and this ear. So this earlobe is free, it is not attached. So this is again because of the inheritance and variations. And just look at this earlobe. This earlobe is attached to this cheek skin. So this is called attached earlobe, and this is called free earlobe. So this comes because of the inheritance. and this doesn't come because of the variation. So this is again the example of the variation. So dear students, about heredity and variation we have seen. Now we'll go for the next characteristics or next topic from this chapter, and it includes again some terminologies, and you have to be very familiar with all that terminology. So I have explained you about heredity or inheritance. I hope you have learnt about it. And the next term I explained you about variation. Now I'll explain about the gene. What is gene? Dear students, simply it is a particular segment of DNA which is responsible for the inheritance and the expression of the characteristics. According to Wilhelm Johnson, the gene is the small fragment or small particular segment of the DNA. So DNA is there in the cell, in the nucleus of the cell, in the genetic material, in the chromosome there is DNA, and in the DNA the small fragment or a small piece or a small segment or small particular segment of that DNA is called gene. And what are the function of the gene? It is responsible for the inheritance and the expression of the characteristics. Whatever characteristic is transferred in your body from your parents body, it is because of the gene, because gene is the small piece or a small segment or a small fragment of the DNA. And whatever characteristic is expressing in your body, it is because of the gene. So I hope you have learned about the gene, the small particular segment of the DNA which is responsible for the inheritance and the expression of the characteristics. Next term is characters. What is character in the genetics? It is the feature of the organism. For example, the height of the stem. For example, your height, it is one of your character. But there is difference in between the character and the trait. And what is that different? So character is simply the feature of the organism. For example, your height or the stem height in the plant. What is trait? It's an inherited character. This is again the character but inherited from the parents, and it is detectable variant. So it can be detectable, it is detectable, and it is inherited character. So this is the difference in between the character and trait. Character is whatever character it is present in your body. For example, the height of the stem, for example your height, for example your eyes color, for example some other characteristics which is not transferred from your parents. And trait, it is an inherited character, so which is transferred from your parents body. So this is the difference. For example, the tallness and the dwarfness in the plant body. So if some plant is tall, so it is transmitted character from the father or mother combination. If some plant is dwarf, it is again the variation character. It is again the character by the variation. So this is the difference in between the character and the trait. The next thing is factor. What is factor? It is the unit of the heredity and a particular particles present in the organism which is responsible for the inheritance and the expression of the characters. So actually, dear student, this is this factor is its definition is like the gene. Why it is like the gene? Because actually, as I told you, Gregor John Mendel, the son of a peasant farmer, was born in the Moravia in 1822. Actually, the process of the inheritance was very well explained by that Mendel. Inheritance of the 7 traits in the garden pea plant were studied individually, one at a time, or in a combination of the 2 or 3 characters at a time. So he processed the data mathematically and statistically. Mendel then postulated the principles of the heredity, which then become the fundamental law of heredity. And he visualized that the traits such as are not inherited physically but by something. present in the gametic cell. And what is that something? To this something he coined the term factor. So this is that factor which are responsible for the expression of the particular trait or characters, and he proposed that factors are particular in nature and the Mendelian factors are now termed as a gene. So dear students, why this is having similar definition? Because the factor means gene, but factor was used by the Mendel earlier, and factor was earlierly actually it was considered as a gene then. So these factors occur in a pair in the parents and segregate from each other during the gamete formation without blending or without mixing. So this is that factor. You can just consider factor means genes. So I hope you are learning about the terminology we use here. Then about the allele. What is allele? Allele means the alternate form of the gene. Allele means the alternate form of the gene. It is also called allelomorph. The two or more alternative form of a given gene or factor are called the allele of each other. Then they actually copy identical loci, that is the position, on the homologous chromosome, and allele is a short form of allelomorph. So dear students, what is in short allele? What is allele? The alternative form or alternate form of the gene. For example, the gene code for the eye color. So this is identical allele and this is different allele. So in this pair you can see this blue color is one of the allele, this red color is one of the allele. So it is allele coding for the blue eyes, and this is the allele coding for the blue eyes, and you can see here the allele, it is coding for the brown eyes. So this is about the allele, the alternate form of the gene. So you can see here two allele, one for the blue color and one for the brown color or a red color according to this picture. So allele means the alternative form of the gene. Thereafter, next terminology, I actually explain you about the trait. What is trait? As I told you, trait is actually any physical characteristics of an organisms which is inherited by the parents. That is called trait. Thereafter, the next terminology we'll see here. About allele, I have explained you different allele can lead to a different phenotypes. Diploid have two copies of each gene. Allele may be homozygous, allele may be heterozygous. So homozygote process two copies of the same allele. If same alleles two copies there, so that zygote is called homozygote. And if two different allele are there, then that zygote is called hetero, because homo means same and hetero means different. So this is about the allele and about the different types of the zygote according to the presence of the pair of the allele. Thereafter, what's the difference between the homozygous and the heterozygous? So dear students, homozygous trait is made up of two of the same allele, as I told you, because the meaning of the homo is same, and heterozygous trait is made of two different allele. So homozygous, or which is also called pure, it is an individual possessing identical allele for a particular trait. It is called homozygous or pure for that trait. So homozygous breeds true to the trait and produces only one type of gametes. For example, the tall with the capital T. This is one of the example of the homozygous breed. Means 2 capital T is responsible for the tallness, and another example is dwarfness of the plant, means the shortness of the plant. For that dwarfness, that plant is having small t. These two small t are the two pairs, are the one pair of the homozygous allele which is responsible for this dwarfness. And then about the Then about the heterozygous, an individual possessing contrasting means the different alleles for a particular trait, it is called heterozygous. Heterozygous does not breed true for that trait and produces two type of the gametes. For example, in the F1 generation, hybrids capital T small t. Heterozygous individual is also called hybrid. So that hybrid in which capital T and small t is there, so that capital T is dominant gene and the small t is recessive gene, so that pair is called heterozygous pair. So this is about the homozygous and the heterozygous. Dear students, then comes the dominant and the recessive character. What is dominant? It's an allele that expresses its trait even in the presence of an alternative allele, that is in the heterozygous condition. Only dominant expressed in hybrid and generally indicated by the capital letter, like the tallness of the plant is indicated by the capital T, capital T. So simply dominance or dominancy or dominant allele or gene means an allele that express itself even in the presence of its alternative form. For example, there are two parents, one is tall and another one is dwarf. So in their F1 generation, tall generation is produced. There are two parents, one is tall, and for this tallness capital T, these two alleles are responsible, means capital T is responsible for the tallness, and another parent is dwarf, means small t, this gene is responsible for dwarfness. So their first generation comes as a tall generation. So why it is tall? Because the next generation is having the heterozygous condition, that is capital T small t. So in this hybrid generation, capital T and small t is there, but the allele will but the generation will be tall. So why it is tall? Because of the dominant gene. Which is dominant gene? Capital T is the dominant gene. So capital T, which is for responsible for the dominancy, and that capital gene is dominant because it shows it express itself even in the presence of its alternative form. So its alternative form is there, which one? Small t, but it has dominancy on that small t, that's why tallness is there in the F1 generation. Then the recessive. What is recessive? Dear students, recessive character is it is an allele which is not expressed in the presence of its alternative form, which is not expressed in the presence of in its alternative form in the heterozygous condition. In the heterozygous condition, it expressed only in the presence of the another identical gene. It is indicated by a small letter, for example the small t. So dear student, in the F1 generation, as I explained you about tallness in the F1 generation, why that tallness is there? Because small t is suppressed by the capital T, because small t is recessive in form. So this is about the dominant character and recessive character. So I hope you are learning about the terminology for this chapter. So comparison of the contrast phenotype and genotype. So dear students, one more term is there, phenotype, and another one is genotype. What is phenotype? Phenotype means the physical expression of the gene. For example, the brown hair and the blonde hair, this is the phenotypic character. So phenotypic character, what is phenotypic character in your body? Just look at the color of your hair, if it is brown or if it is blonde. So that brown color of your hair is the phenotypic character of your body. Then what about the genotypic character? Genotypic character is the actual gene combination. For example, capital B, capital B, capital B, small b, small b, small b. For example, homozygous, capital B, dominancy, small b, recessive, and the heterozygous, capital B, small b. So this is the genetical characteristic which is called genotype. Genotype, the genetic constitution or the genetic makeup of an organism with respect to a particular trait. It is representation of the genetic constitution of an individual with respect to the single character or the set of the character. For example, the P tall plants can have the genotype capital D or capital D small t, and dwarf plant is having small t. So that capital D, the pair of the gene is genotypic characters example. The small t again it's an example of the genotype. Capital T small t again it is one of the example of the genotype. So genotype, the genetical makeup of an organism, and phenotype, the physical expression of the gene. So this is about the genotype and phenotype. You can just compare here. In these two girls you can see the change in the hair color. So the style of hair with the blonde hair, you can see here in this girl blonde hair is there, and in this girl brown hair is there. So this brown color of the hair and this blonde hair is the phenotypic characters of these two girls. So I hope you have learned about the phenotypic characteristics. Genotypic versus phenotypic. Genotype, as I told you, the genetic makeup of an organisms. The gene or allele combination with an combination in organism has example. For example, capital T small t. Phenotypic character, the physical characteristics of an organism or the physical expression of an organisms and the way organisms looks. So for example, the curly hair, the straight hair, the blue eyes, and the tallness, and the green color or the another color, all these are the example of the phenotypic characteristics. So dear students, I hope you are learning about this terminology. Still we have not started this chapter. I am just explaining about the terminologies which is being used in this chapter. So this is very important lecture from this chapter, because you have to understand all these terminology one by one with the example. Then comes the pure lines and hybrid. These two terms are also there. What is these two terms? Pure line means an individual or a group of individuals or population that is homozygous or true breeding for one or more trait. That is called. So dear students, that is called pure line. So an individual or the group of the individual population which is homozygous or true breeding for one or more trait, that constitutes the pure line. For example, the plant which breeds true for a particular characteristic, it is a descendant of a single homozygous parent produced after self fertilization. So this is called pure line. For example, there is one horse having the high protein content in the cell, having the high protein content in his cell. So that high protein content characteristics, if it is transferred in the next generation, from next generation into their generation, from their generation into their generation, likewise if that characteristic is continuously for 4 to 6 generation is being transferred from the parents to their offspring, so for the 4 to 6 generation, for that that characteristic, actually the organism with that characteristic is called pure lines. So that protein content in the cell is the example of the pure line. For example, one more example, for example, the disease resistance power in some living organism. For example, the disease resistance power of the mango tree, if it is having the high disease resistance power to the flood, so this characteristic, if it is transferring from that parents into its next 4 to 6 generations, so that character is the mango tree with that character is called pure line for that character. Then comes the hybrid. It is a heterozygous individual produced from any cross involving the pure parents having one or more contrasting traits. For example, the pink crows, for example the mule, for example the zebroid. So hybrid is the combination of the two parents with the two different characteristics. Actually it's a mixture. For example, the parents which produces the pink rose. For example, there are two parents, one is white, another one is red parent. Both of them is having the crossovering and they produce the pink color. So combination of the white and red is pink. That's why this is the example of the hybrid. Another example is mule. So mule is the progeny produced by the donkey as a one parent and the horse as another parent. So horse and donkey, they produces mule. This mule is the example of the hybrid. So this is about the hybrid. I hope you have learnt about it. So there is a monohybrid cross, a cross between a pea plant that is homozygous for the yellow seeds capital Y, and a pea plant that is homozygous for the green seed small y, will produce only yellow heterozygous offspring capital Y, small y. So capital Y, this capital Y responsible for the yellow color. Possible gametes will be capital Y from this parent, and the another parent is small y homozygous recessive, which is responsible for the green color. The possible gametes will be small y. So there are two gametes, small y from these parents, capital Y from this parent. So dear students, what will happen if this capital Y will fuse with this small y? Then it will produce capital Y, small y, and the progeny will be yellow. Why it is yellow? Because of this Y gene, because it is dominant. Then the another example, again capital Y from these parents and small y from these parents. If this will fuse, the next generation will be capital Y, small y. Again the color will be yellow. Why it is yellow? Because of this capital Y gene, because it is dominant over small y. Why it is not green? Because this is a recessive form of the gene. Then the same example will be here, capital Y from here, small y from here. Again the progeny will be yellow, and same here, this will be again yellow. So if there are two parents, one is having capital Y for the yellowness and another one the small y for the green color, so definitely their characteristic will be 100% yellow, because of the either in the homozygous condition or in the heterozygous condition. So 4/4 is equal to capital Y, small y, that is heterozygous condition. So their next generation will be definitely yellow, because yellow is dominant over recessive green. Though that is the example of the monohybrid cross. Then dihybrid cross. In the dihybrid cross, there will be two genes responsible for the characteristics. The dihybrid should make 4 types of the gametes in equal number. So these dihybrid cross, if it is having capital Y, capital R, capital Y, small y, capital R, small y, small r, these 4 types of gametes, if it is producing from the parents, actually how it is produced. So just look at this cross. These are two parents. One parent which is having a round yellow, the seed of the shape of the seed is round, and the shape in these parents, and the seed of the shape is wrinkled in these parents. So that round shape is because of the capital R, and this wrinkled shape is because of the small r. Then the color of the seed, the round of the shape of the seed is one of the character, and the another character is mixing here or comparing with in these two parents is the color of the seeds. So this is yellow in color, so that Y, capital Y, is responsible for this yellowness, and this is green in color. Why this green in color? Because of the small y. So it means there are two characters in this cross. So because two characters are comparing, that's why this cross is called dihybrid cross. And in previous cross we have seen only one characteristics, the color, that is yellow, and the green. So this ratio is 1:1:1, and the test cross confirm independent assortment of the characteristics. So this organism will produce these four type of the progeny: yellow round, yellow wrinkled, green round, and green wrinkled. So I'll explain about it later when I'll start teaching about the laws. Then one more term is there. What is Punnett square? A Punnett square, or it's actually a chart that helps us to predict the probability that an offspring with a particular genotype and phenotype will be produced. So it is actually a chart which show us the phenotype and the genotype of the cross. So in genetics, a type of the grid that can indicate all the possible outcomes of a genetic cross, that is called the Punnett square or the checkerboard. So you can see this one of the checkerboard or Punnett square. These are the genes from the father and these are the genes from the mother. From father, capital B and small b is there. From mother, again capital B and small b is there. So if this capital B from father will fuse this capital B from mother, so next generation will be capital B, capital B. Likewise, if in the second cross, if capital B of the mother it fuses with the small b of the father, so next generation will be capital B, small b. Again the small b from here and capital B from here, they will produce this capital B, small b, and small b from father and small b from mother, it will produce small b, small b. So these are the genotype, and it is confirmed from this Punnett square because it helps to understand the genotype and the phenotypic characteristics in the generation. So this is about the Punnett square and the checkerboard, where I'll explain about it later. So dear students, this is about this lecture. I'll explain you about the next topic in the next lecture, that is lecture number 2. So dear students, please do subscribe my channel, like my videos with your friends and with all the person who want to learn about the genetics and about all these topics. Share my videos with all, and dear students, please do press the bell icon to receive my new video instantly. So this is from Patel Science Academy from Shahzad sir. Thank you very much.